Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the Ephesus Football Channel, and today we are back with another match preview, this time for the Manchester United versus Villarreal game in the Champions League. Now, of course, Manchester United do come into this game sat bottom of our Champions League group after we lost 2-1 to Young Boys. Let's not talk about that game. We need to move on, and that defeat really makes this game even more important. Of course, Villarreal are in third after drawing their opening game against Atalanta 2-2. And if we look at Villarreal and their recent form, they come to this game in pretty good form, really. They won their game 2 games ago. I think that was 4-1. And then they drew 0-0 with Real Madrid. Of course, we know how good Real Madrid are. So they're in pretty decent form. And you look at Manchester United, we probably couldn't be in much worse form if we tried. In our last 4 games, we've lost to Young Boys, beat West Ham at the London Stadium. Of course, I was at that game. We then lost to West Ham in the Cup. And then, of course, we lost to Aston Villa in the league. Goals. Well, shall we speak about that game? Courtney House scored in the 88th minute, I believe. And Bruno Fernandes skied a penalty in the 90th. And what we saw in that game, for me, was what we've seen so often from Ollie, and what I think this game will probably be again. We played like we did in the Europa League final against Villa, and that's not very good, is it? Because this season we were hoping to see this team develop and kick on, and kind of come away from what we were seeing at the end of last season, or throughout the last season, where we was defensive, try and defend. And we blamed it on the fact, we have Lindelof, we have to protect. So when we got Varane, we was hoping, play on the front foot a little bit more. Get rid of McTominay and Freddie midfield and try and be a bit more expressive and try and go and win games a little bit more. But we haven't really seen that, and we still struggle to break down low blocks. We still see McFred. And this game is going to be very, very difficult if we line up like that. It's a huge game. It's an absolutely huge game. If we look, obviously, at the Europa League final, we obviously drew that 1-0. We lost on penalties thanks to David De Gea missing his. It happens. Obviously, David De Gea has now actually saved a penalty since then. So, well done, David. But that game is textbook Manchester United won it, as I just said. Dominating the ball, but not creating anything of real value, did we? It was, passing outside the box, a few long shots. But the only chance we actually got was that Cavani goal. And that came from just a mix-up. It just fell to Cavani, didn't it? It wasn't like we knocked it about, we put a great cross in, Cavani scored. It was, I believe it was a shot from a corner, wasn't it? And it just fell to Cavani unmarked. So, we know Villarreal aren't a bad team. We know they're hard to beat. And we're going to have to get our very, very best to beat them today. And, like I said, we need to beat them today. Because, if not, we're going to put ourselves in a horrific position for this group, and we're going to be looking like we're going to be aiming for second in this group. Well, we should be winning this group, and we should be topping it quite easily. If we're going on to team news, obviously we know about Rashford and Ahmad. They have been injured for all season. They are coming back. They're in light training now, and hopefully should be back for after the international break. So that will be after Arsenal, and they might be able to play against Leicester. I think that might be just before the international breaking before and after Everton, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Wan-Bissaka is, of course, suspended for this game after his red card against Young Boys, so he'll miss this game, while Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw both have knocks that they picked up against Aston Villa on the weekend, so both of them will also be missing. So with all that in mind, this is the team I believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will run with today, so I think he will go with David De Gea in goal. I simply think you have to go with your first choice goalkeeper in a game as big as this. And when you look into the back four, Dalot, Varane, Lindelof and Telles, only one of them is what you would consider your first choice defender, being Varane. So I don't think you can make so many changes to this back line in this sort of game. Maybe in that sense, maybe you do bring in a Henderson, because Dalot, Lindelof and Telles all played with Henderson in their last game against West Ham. So maybe that works, because I guess Dalot, Lindelof and Telles are more used to playing with Henderson than De Gea. Although at the same time, look, Lindelof played all season long last year with De Gea and has played multiple seasons with De Gea. Varane has only played with De Gea so far. So you probably would go with De Gea. Plus, like I said, you want your best goalkeeper in this game because it is such a must-win game. So De Gea makes sense for me. So I would go with David De Gea. McTominay and Fred for me will be in this team for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's spoken in this press conference today that he likes them, how much he offers them. So I think there's no doubt we'll see McTominay and Fred in this game, which means we'll see the front line that we saw in the last game. Pogba on the left, Bruno at 10, Greenwood on the right, Cristiano Ronaldo up top. Ronaldo will bring goals. Pogba will provide the creativity. Bruno, a bit of both. Greenwood will look to score goals. And my biggest problem with this team is, and I think we saw it against Aston Villa, because it's obviously the same starting lineup that played against Aston Villa, is Pogba often has to drop deep, try and be that creative player in the midfield. So we end up losing a left winger. So we kind of have Bruno having to try and do it all himself, creativity, because Mason Greenwood is a striker. He will try and score goals rather than create, and that can be an issue. And obviously, Ronaldo, we saw him get no service against Aston Villa. We saw Martial and Cavani, or Greenwood even, when he played up top last season. Didn't get much creativity at all. I think that is continuing to show to be a big issue with this Manchester United team and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If I'm going to my team, same back four and goalkeeper. Like I said, majority of them, they have to be there, don't they? I mean, Lindelof has to play, unless you put in Bailly because Maguire's injured. Telles has to be in there because Shaw's injured. Wan-Bissaka obviously can't play, so Dalot has to be there. I would then go for McTominay and Van der Beek. I want to see Van der Beek play more. I think we've seen this pivot once before, and that was against Watford last year in the FA Cup. Let's see it again, I guess. Plus, I think Nemanja Matic should be playing in the Premier League games. And for me, I think it's pretty clear that he can't play in both competitions. He can't play in the Premier League and the Champions League week in, week out. So if I'm having to pick one, I'm picking the Premier League. So that's why Matic isn't in this team alongside Van der Beek. However, if Matic is able to play in both, he should be playing alongside Van der Beek in this game. I've only not put him in, again, because I don't think he's capable of doing it. Or else, why is he not doing it week in, week out? Then the front line, I've gone for Pogba on the left. You just kind of putting Pogba in there because who else is going to be there? I think Pogba, he offers that creativity with Van der Beek in that deeper role. He doesn't have to come in so deep, so we can kind of see him playing more wide, like we want to see from him when he is playing on that left-hand side, and often offering that creativity and kind of offloading some of the burden on Bruno Fernandes in that front line. I've gone for Sancho on the right, and again, another creator, a player that is capable of beating men, creating chances and scoring goals. And obviously Cristiano Ronaldo's up top to get on the end of balls into the box, chances, and put the ball in the back of the net. Now look, I accept this team is a big risk. Whether McTominay and Van der Beek would work as a pivot, I'm not sure. I would go with it though, just in case. Give it a go. If it doesn't work out, you're going to have Freds. You're going to have Matic on the bench. You can always bring Pogba in the midfield and bring on a Greenwood, a Martial. So I think it's worth a risk. And if it works, and we get to see the best out of Van der Beek, we get to see if McTominay is capable of playing that number 6 role like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer seems to think he can. And that is obviously just a plus for Manchester United, isn't it? So let's have it. Let's give it a go. And let's see if McTominay is this player that a lot of people seem to think he is. When it comes to this whole game in general, I think it's huge. I really, really do. Like I said earlier, have to win it. Plainly for the fact we're bottom of our Champions League group right now. That's not good enough. We have to be top in this group. So we need to win this game. We need to win pretty much every game we play in this Champions League now. So this is no exception. We have to win this game. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer also has a lot of pressure on his back after recent performances. Like I said, only one win in the last 4. That's not good enough. The performance levels aren't good enough. The style of football isn't good enough. And last season, obviously, we got second. We got to the Europa League final. We kind of accepted, look, the performance levels aren't great, but we're getting results, so we kind of put up with it. That hasn't been the case this season. So, even we need to see performances come up and the style of football improve, or we need to start seeing us win a lot more games. And hopefully, to me, at least, you put that style of football up, you bring up performances, results will come as well. So I want to see a better style of football. I want to see better performances, and I want to see the results come in. And Villarreal has to be a good start, because Everton on the weekend aren't an easy side, like this Villarreal team aren't. And if we get done in both of these games, then we're out. Then we've put ourselves in a terrible position for the Champions League, and we could end up seeing us get knocked down to the Europa League again, or even worse, in the Premier League, we could see ourselves come even further away from that top three of Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea, and them already to start creating that gap. And if that gap starts to happen so early in this season, it's going to be almost irrecoverable, because I don't see us being able to, well, I don't see the other teams, I should say, dropping that many points. So if we're dropping points so early against the lesser sides, we're not gonna be in that title race, and that has to be considered a failure for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And whether it is or not by the board is another question. But for me and for 99% of reasonable fans, it should be. And that could be what we end up seeing Ollie lose his job over. Now, what is my score prediction for this game? I'm not confident. I think we've seen this before last season in the Europa League final, so why would it be any different today? I think it will be a tough game, but I do think we will just about get it over the line. That might be a little bit of bias coming in there, but I think we will win this game, and I am going to go for a 1-0 Manchester United team. But I don't think it's going to be a pretty performance. I think we'll just about get it over the line, though. But I guess, look, football's a results business. I guess that's all that really matters at the end of the day. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button below and subscribe if you are new and you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated. Let me know your score predictions down below in the comment section below. And thank you all for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one. In a bit. Peace.